The chimera of the Amma. They say the forest breathes. But deep here, in the throat of Bavaria, the woods do not breathe. They hold their breath. They wait. We went looking for a joke, a taxidermy prank to laugh about over beers. My boyfriend, Elias, broad-shouldered, loud, unreflective, he carried the spade. I carried the sack and the candle. We were following the old rules. The hunt. The folklore is specific. You need a beautiful woman to lure it, and a strong man to catch it. You go when the moon is full, to where the canopy is so thick it strangles the starlight. The atmosphere changed the moment we stepped off the trail. The silence wasn't empty, it was heavy, pressurized. The smell was ancient, wet loam, decaying needles, and something sharp, like copper and musk. Elias found the burrow, a jagged hole beneath the twisted roots of dying oak. He laughed, a harsh sound that died instantly in the damp air. He didn't care about the stories, he just wanted some fun. He jammed the spade into the earth behind the hole, blocking the rear exit. "No back door for the little bastard," he whispered. He forced the creature into a corner before we even saw it. I placed the sack, I lit the candle, and we waited. It didn't hop, it shuffled. When it came into the candlelight, my brain refused to process it. It was a biological blasphemy, a rejection of order. It was small, the size of a hair, but it moved with a disjointed, fluid wrongness. The fur was matted and slick, smelling of rancid oil. From its skull, pushing through inflamed pink skin, rose two small antlers, not majestic, but brittle like old bone splinters. But it was the wings that made me gag. Vestigial, featherless things tucked against its ribs, pulsing rhythmically, and the feet, webbed, pale, slapping wetly against the dirt. It was a Wolpertinger, but it wasn't magical. It was a mistake. It saw the flame, it moved towards the sack, entranced. But then Elias moved. The spade scraped against the root. The creature snapped its head. Its eyes were milky, blind-looking orbs that reflected no light. It realized it was trapped. The spade blocked its retreat. The sack blocked its path. It didn't run, it screamed. A sound like a crying child overlaid with the hiss of a goose. It convulsed, its body twisting in unnatural angles, the mismatched bones grinding audibly. Elias lunged to grab it. "Got you!" The creature was trembling in fear. It turned its head towards Elias, its lip curling back to reveal teeth that were too long, too yellow, needle-sharp canines meant for tearing meat, not chewing grass. It hissed, and a spray of thick, vicious fluid erupted from a gland beneath its tail. It hit Elias' boot, but a fine mist caught my arm. The smell was instant, ammonia and rot. It burned, cold and chemical. We ran, we left the spade, we left the candle burning in the dark. We didn't speak until we reached the car. Elias wiped his boot, swearing, "Scheiße," scrubbing until the leather faded. He said it was just musk, just a defense mechanism of a freak animal. He was wrong. The folklore mentions the smell. It says the Wolpertinger scent lingers for 7 years. The smell fades. But the biology, that stays. The mist that hit my arm didn't just burn, it seeded. I can feel it itching, not the skin, but under it. The doctor says it's a fungal infection from the soil or a reaction to some toxic plant sap. But I know the texture of that fur. I remember the clicking of those mismatched bones. The forest didn't let us go. It just planted something in us. One thing I told you isn't true. You have everything you need to find it. The spade, the sack, and the candle. The commons are waiting. Be careful what you hunt in the deep woods. Some legends aren't stories. They are diagnoses. Just there to be left alone. The anatomy of a myth. A Wolpertinger is rarely described the same way twice, but the standard specimen is typically a hare that has been enhanced with the following features. Antlers, usually those of a roebuck or deer. Wings, often from a pheasant or duck. Feet, sometimes webbed, waterfowl or taloned. Fangs, small vampiric canine teeth. Why the folklore arose. To understand why this creature exists in the German consciousness, we have to look at the distinct origins that converged in the 19th century, the taxidermist prank, the 1800s. The most direct reason for the Wolpertinger's rise was the 19th century Bavarian taxidermy industry. Taxidermists in southeast Germany began stitching together parts of different animals as a joke or a display of skill. The tourist trap? They quickly realized that gullible tourists from the city and abroad were fascinated by these rare alpine creatures. They began selling these mounted hybrids as authentic specimens of local fauna. The snipe hunt. Similar to the American jackalope, the Wolpertinger became the centerpiece of elaborate pranks played on outsiders. Locals would take the city folk into the woods of a Wolpertinger hunt, leading to various humorous and embarrassing scenarios. Biological reality. The show papilloma virus. While the winged-fanged rabbit is a fabrication, the horned rabbit has a basis in reality. The show papilloma virus causes creatinous tumors to grow on a rabbit's head and neck. These hard, protruding growths can look remarkably like small antlers. Historical sightings, woodcuts and engravings from the 16th and 17th centuries, long before the taxidermy craze, depict horned hares. These were likely sightings of infected animals, which gave the later legends the shred of biological proof to point to. Etymological roots. The name Wolpertinger itself is a bit of a mystery, but two theories are widely accepted. Wolpertinger, a village near Donaueschingen, known for glassmaking. They produced animal-shaped schnapps glasses, called Wolpertinger, which may have morphed into the creature's name over time. Some suggest the name is a corruption of Valpa, a dialect term of Walpurgis Night, the Night of the Witches, when magical and hybrid creatures were said to be most active. Legends and characteristics. To keep the folklore alive, Bavarians developed a specific set of rules regarding the Wolpertinger's behavior. The diet. It is said to eat only herbs, roots, and the occasional insect. The defense mechanism. Much like a skunk, it can spray a foul-smelling liquid. Folklore dictates that the smell is so potent it cannot be washed off and will linger for exactly 7 years. How to catch one? According to the exact folklore, a Wolpertinger can only be seen by a beautiful woman during a full moon, and only if she is accompanied by the right man. This was, unsurprisingly, a common 19th century pickup line. To actually capture it, one must sprinkle salt on its tail, or use the sack and the candle method, lure it with a flame into an open bag. The cultural legacy. Today, Wolpertinger is more of a symbol of Bavarian identity and a humor than a scary monster. You can find authentic specimen in the German Hunting and Fishing Museum in Munich, where they are displayed not as biological facts, but as a tribute to the region's rich tradition of storytelling. Lie reveal. You found the smell. 7 years, the scent that cannot be washed, that lingers by magic until it simply doesn't. That was not the lie. The lie is the biology. I told you the spray didn't just burn, that it seeded, that something from the forest had transferred. That the creature's nature has found a foothold in human tissue, hair through skin, flesh hardening like antlered bone. The doctor wrong, the forest winning. I want to be precise about this. The show papilloma virus, the biological core of the horned rabbit, the creature that gave the Wolpertinger its only real horns, is species specific. It infects leproids, cottontails, jackrabbits, snowshoe hares. It has been studied since 1933, when Richard E. Shope first isolated it from wild cottontails in the American Midwest. In nearly a century of documented research, it has not crossed to humans. It cannot. The creatinous growths are real. The antler-like tumors are real. The woodcuts from 1655 depicting horned hares in the alpine forests of Bavaria, real. The virus that caused them, real. Documented species specific to rabbits. The biology does not stay, not in us. What I described, the itch beneath the skin, the coarse hairs pushing through, the calcification, that is not what the virus does. The most effective lies always arrive after the truth has already lowered your guard. The arm is fine, probably.